Wes, it's Brian. Um, just another video to try to help you out with this thing. Um, One of the things that I didn't show you on the other one because it kind of takes a while, and it was a little crowded at the park. So anyway, when you go to put the battery in this thing, pull the transmitter out like any of the other planes. Turn the transmitter on first. On this transmitter, if the light is solid, that is low rate for the control surfaces, meaning that they only move a minimal amount. If you press this left one down, nope, right one down, sorry. Press the right one straight down. If this red light's blinking, that puts it into high rate, which means that all your control surfaces will have more movement at that point in time. It defaults to low rate, so you don't have to worry about that. If you want the high rate, you have to push down on it. If you want it back to low rate, push straight down on it again. Stay solid. Done deal. Make sure the throttle is all the way down. Again, double check your switch. Make sure that it's all the way down on the zero setting. I put a little spot of red paint on it. That's the oh crap area. That's the expert area. So it has the stability for the wind, but you let go of it, it's going to go any place you want. So you could run this thing into the ground. You could stall it going straight up. That's the potential for accidents. So to start out with, you need to make sure that it's down on the first setting. Second setting gives you a little more movement, but still has the auto it'll automatically square itself up. So you let go of the controls, it'll level it out. Throw it up to number 2 or the third position, and that is your expert mode. Make sure it's down after you pull it off. So right now we got that out. These batteries are just like the Night Vapor. I put a little red dot so that lines up with the red dot that is on the connector, just like the Night Vapor, same thing. So there's a few things that this plane does. I'm going to try to do this and hold the camera at the same time. I don't know if it's going to work. Bear with me. I'm going to hold it with my chin. Or not. Let me set this down. Okay, I'm putting it wings down like this just so you can see it. Again, you don't want the tail to hit anything. So you hook up the battery, set it in place, just like that. Now what should happen should be a light start blinking in there. You'll notice nothing's happening. This particular plane will not activate upside down. So keep it upside down until you're ready. Then when you're going to fly, when you get it out to where you want to take off, set the plane down on a level surface and leave it alone. And give it a couple seconds. What should happen then is these control surfaces should move. It didn't bind. There it is. Okay. So I didn't give it long enough. That little squeak, that's now it's bound, now it's done. It should happen fairly soon. It may have been because I had the transmitter too close to the airplane. But we'll see. This plane is different from the Night Vapor that you're used to in some ways. Obviously it has the stability It has a more powerful motor, slightly smaller prop, so it's a little bit quicker. Still flies really easy. Just like the Night Vapor, it has the horizontal stabilizer and the elevator. So you pull down on the transmitter to make the plane go up, and it goes down. Where the dip and the throttle is still here on the left side. So you can up, down, that increases throttle, cuts the throttle, kills the motor. The change is Night Vapor doesn't have ailerons. This plane does. So these are your ailerons. Left, right, up, down. What this does is this allows the plane to bank. Whereas on the Night Vapor, that's also how you would turn the airplane. This will turn the plane to a point. It'll let you do nice sweeping turns. Nice gradual, just banking turns back and forth. If you want to turn quicker, you want to use the rudder, or if you're on the ground and you're taxiing it, you move this one left or right. That operates the rudder, which also operates the tail wheel, so you can taxi it. If you're flying it and you want to turn really tightly, left or right, however it might be, you can use the rudder, and it will essentially take the plane. If you hit left rudder, it'll take the plane and spin it flat like this. Right rudder spins it flat like this. A combination of rudder and ailerons will actually really spin the plane around quickly, which is a lot of fun to do, and it works really well, but you need to practice it on mode 1 or mode 2, or have some altitude if you're going to take it off and try it the first few times. And then if you do, if you are on the expert mode and you get to a point where you're out of control, press and hold this button. There's a high-pitched noise. While that's activated, it will level the plane out, just as if you were to let go of the controls and move this down. Or you can flip this switch back down at any time. It's seamless. You don't have to worry about anything. You can flip it back and forth while you're flying. It doesn't hurt a thing. One of the things that I have found, batteries don't last too long on these transmitters. It's 4 AA's. I believe these are new batteries, but you might want to check them when you get them. I took them out of the package, so they should be good, but who knows on shelf life. What I've found on these airplanes is that if you're flying and it doesn't want to turn, like you're giving it throttle and you're trying to use your right rudder and ailerons, and it doesn't want to respond. Usually it's the fact that the batteries on the transmitter are weak. So swap them out, get a new set of batteries, put them in. This motor also, when the batteries start to get weak, the motor will pulse. So it will do something, I'm going to simulate it, but it'll do something like this. Oops. I'll get in front of it so it doesn't take off. It'll pulse something similar to that when you give it full throttle. If it starts doing that, that means that the battery is getting to the point where the low voltage cutoff is going to kick in, and you need to bring it down. So just pull the throttle back and get it back down on the ground and replace the battery. If the motor does quit, at least on these guys, you still have some control over the control surfaces. But if you notice after a few minutes, time it, get a rough idea how much time you're getting out of each battery before it hits that low voltage cutoff point, the surge point. If it starts getting down close to that time, bring the plane in fairly close to you and bring the altitude down. That way you can pull it in if it starts acting up. It'll kind of save having it take off. Not take off, but maybe be facing away from you and you can't get it turned enough and avoid trees or something else. It lets you put it down where you want to instead of where it ends up. That's it. Pull the battery out of the aircraft first. Once you got the battery out of the aircraft, then you can turn off the transmitter, and that's it. I said this charger is a USB charger. It has 2 ports on it. It'll do 2 of these batteries at once. A couple of these batteries. That's a 160. This is a 150, which is the stock battery. This one is another 160 that's questionable. This one is a brand new one. I bought a bunch of these. These are killer. You buy them really cheap. This is 220 milliamps. Connor and I have been consistently getting like 40-45 minutes of flight time out of these suckers. I mean, just killer batteries. You can buy a whole bunch of them really dirt cheap. The one that's in it now is, I think it's 180, something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, so anyway, this battery here, the 220 milliamp, is a brand new battery. These other ones are all about the same size, same length, all exactly the same width and all that. This one is just a little bit longer. Doesn't matter. They fit fine. They work fine. Just make sure that you keep the butt of the battery kind of close, tied up against the front of the notch there. And they seem to like that a little bit better. This, oh, also, I forgot to tell you, down here is the owner's manual and information for the airplane on that. This, it's missing the pieces for that. I'll dig them up and put them in there. This is if you wanted to put floats on it. So you buy a float kit and you mount the piece in there. Take the landing gear off, which basically take a razor knife and split that Velcro, and then kind of squeeze the wire in like this, and then the landing gear just comes straight off. And then use these for float mounts, and you can put floats on it, so then it's a float mount. Also, if you want to get really nuts though, right here, and move it again. Sucks trying to do this one-handed. Right here, kind of barely see it. There's a little bit of a circle indent. This plane is FPV ready, first person view. So you can actually take a razor knife and cut this opening. Reach in there and there's a little tiny wire. You can actually get a small FPV camera for these planes that runs on the 1S battery. Get some Velcro, stick it on the top of the wing here, plug this lead into the camera, and either buy an FPV headset or an FPV monitor, and you can go flying FPV. Pretty cool. I put lights on mine with decent results. The lights work, but they won't run off of one battery, so I have to piggyback a second battery underneath it. It makes it a little bulky, but it works. So I haven't done it too often. I've got a couple other planes that have lights, so I've been flying them more. It was more an exercise of if I could versus, you know, how well it works. Anyway, if I think of anything else, I'll send you more videos. That should pretty much cover it. Again, the original manuals, I dug up a good set, so I got you the manuals, and they're pretty detailed. They cover pretty much everything that I've gone through on this as well. But some of the things I've had to learn the hard way. These guys are notorious for developing little hairline cracks in the wing from the inside edge of the aileron right through here. Both of them. This plane, I got it. It had the cracks. Somebody had put some glue on them. I like the wing tape, the flap tape. It's thinner. It sticks better. It doesn't weigh anything. So I did that. And somewhere along the line, these leading edges of the wing had gotten warm. I don't know what happened, but they were slightly deformed. So I used the flap tape again to kind of pull them down and square them up. And the nose, somebody had gotten into it. And basically the reason I got tape on it is they pulled all the blue paint off when they pulled the decals off. So I went through and I put tape on the nose, basically just so I could put the blue Sharpie on and make it not look as bad. Never had any real serious damage on it. Had a little tiny crack back here. I've gone through and I've reinforced a couple of areas. A little bit of tape right there, again on that side, just to strengthen the tail, and on these corners of the elevator, it had a couple little tiny dings in them. Otherwise, pretty cool. It will land on grass. You saw it doesn't roll real well. So if you're on grass, you need to keep in mind that it's going to nose over. So just before it comes in, flare up the elevator and have it come down, kind of drop down. It lands sweet on concrete or hard surfaces, asphalt, concrete, even gravel. It doesn't do too bad in, as long as it's not real big. It's got its own individual servos for the elevators, and then the circuit board is inside. If for any reason you need to get into them, just take a razor knife and split along this body seam, and you don't need to do the whole thing. Just split one side or the other and flip it up. You can get to it. What will happen periodically, and this one has been bumped, and I think that's what somebody may have done. Anyway, they will get bumped once in a while, and what happens if you bump it enough, you knock the motor loose from the styrofoam chassis. If it gets bumped loose and nothing's broken, just get a hot melt glue gun. Steal Laura's hot melt glue gun and clean off all the excess hot melt glue. And the little motor mount has got 4 prongs, look like little fangs, 4 prongs, and they sit down in there. And the motor is at slightly an angle back on the right side. Just set it back down in there, hot melt glue it, let it set up, flip the body back over, tape it up, you're good to go. Propellers, nose cone is the same as the Night Vapor. Propeller is similar. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but similar. Mechanically, looks very similar. The board, it sits right about here. It's all down in the bottom portion of the plane. So anyway, like I said, if I can think of anything else, I'll let you know. Otherwise, get a chance to look at these. Like I said, I'm going to try and send them out if I can Monday, if not Tuesday next week. I was going to do it this week. For some reason, the company that we use, the prices that they were giving me to ship them have gotten really expensive over the last year, and so I had to find another place. And thankfully, we got a FedEx shop just close by, so I checked with them, and they're more in line with what it should be. So I'll get it out, and hope you can have some fun with it. Anyway, talk to you later. Oh, I was going to show you. I don't know if you can see it, but kind of see how the wind's blowing the trees around, and it's actually calmed down just a little bit from what it was at the park. These things are good as long as it doesn't get too windy. These things are awesome. I mean, they'll, probably up to about 6-8 miles an hour that you can still fly them. We've had them where you set the plane on the ground and the wind to try to pick it up off the ground. And once you get up in the air, they're fine. There are actually more problems with them on the ground. But, if it gets to be too much trouble, obviously don't fly it because you'll have an issue with it. But unlike the little Night Vapor, which has to have things pretty much dead calm, these things are not, you don't have to worry about anywhere near the problems. These will fly inside, they'll fly outside. If it's calm, you have a blast. If it's windy, point it into the wind and kill the throttle. You can actually get them to just float in the sky. Pretty cool. Well, talk to you later, bud. Thanks. Oh, I forgot to tell you too. We got the car Monday or Tuesday. Kids are all excited, so now we'll dig up the stuff and see if we can get it running. Anyway, thank you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.